And for me, the first many years of my practice the practice was actually, in many ways, just defining what a practice was. I didn't really know. I sort of flailed around from yoga studio to yoga studio, from style of practice to style of practice, and was really looking. While I think I was having a deep and profound experience of self-discovery on one level, I'd have these moments of real clarity, but as far as knowing what my path should be in really a practical sort of day-to-day way, like where should I go to practice and what should I do, I really didn't know. And I think that I really kind of just found different things that I liked about a particular practice and stuck to it until I got bored with it, and then went on to another one. And it wasn't until I really started studying this philosophy that I understood really what the common thing that all good practices have, all good yoga practices. And Patanjali says it here, that it's really about trying to come to that steadiness, that restraint of the mind stuff that allows us to cease identification with it. In Sutra 113, he says, practice is effort towards steadiness. For a practitioner, this is important. For a teacher, I think it's supremely important, because if we are to teach people yoga, we have to know what the practice is. And we tend to get so stuck in the techniques of, do I do Ashtanga or Iyengar or flow, or do I not practice asana? Do I do karma yoga? Do I do the yoga of devotion? And if we just stay in the framework of all the different possibilities for asana practice, which is really just one way to practice, even within that, there are so many divisions of, this practice is better than this practice, which is really just a bunch of crap. There's no such thing as this technique being supreme to that technique. And even within the world that I come from, which is the world of asana that I come from, which is Ashtanga, in there are all these different camps of, you got to do it just like Pattabhi Jois did it, or no, you have to infuse some Iyengar into it, or if you don't do it 6 times a day, then you suck. And if you haven't been to Mysore, then you're not a real Ashtangi. This is all a misunderstanding of what yoga practice is. I think it shows a lot of understanding of what the technique of Ashtanga asana is. Sure, we can argue about that. But yoga is about practicing, trying to focus on something. And that's it. And we focus on the body in asana, and it works really well for a lot of people. But I'm not going to tell you what kind of asana practice you should do, except that if you want it to get all of the benefit that a yoga practice can have, this element has to be there. You can practice poses and not do this, and call it a yoga class, and perhaps that's fine on some level, but if you're not teaching steadiness, if you're not creating the space for it, if you're not creating the space for it and then directing the student toward it in a way that's inviting to them, in a way that they can do, then something's being missed. And so this is something that we really, really stress in all of our classes is, it doesn't matter if you get your leg behind your head. It doesn't matter if you go to a different kind of class each day. It doesn't matter if you go to class. If you're trying to steady your mind, you're practicing. And it's not, I love that he doesn't say that it's steadying your mind is yoga practice. It's trying to do it. It's trying to do it. Trying to practice is a perfect practice.